On the Daily Family, welcome back to the podcast. On this episode, I am sharing about your relationship to the universe, God, source, sky daddy, whatever you call it, they, whatever you call them, he, she. And this is going to also be, I'm going to tell you about a client of mine and how her faith in the universe has been very tested over the last few weeks. And so if you feel right now in your life like you've made really big decisions or you're on the verge of something really big, but it almost feels like you're going backwards right now, I think this episode is for you. So keep on listening. The 12 Days of D are back for year 4. And the 12 Days of D are the best time of the year, in my opinion. And I am biased because I created it. And the 12 Days of D is 12 days, the 12 days leading up to my birthday on December 20th. Every single day, there is a different deal, a different discount, a different bundle, a different way to work with me that is going to be cheaper than it would be normally. And you won't know what each day is until that day. So the best way to make sure, because we are already now, this is our second day. Today is December 10th. Today is our second day of the 12 Days of D. And if you don't want to miss any more days, because how dare you, you need to click the link in our show notes and you need to get on my email list, because the places where we announce these deals are on my email list and on my social media. So my social media, Danielle_on_the_daily, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, all the same handle. That is where we announce what is coming that day. And in the past, we've done really cool shit. We've done like half off private coaching. We've done half off VIP days. We've done $200 human design readings. There may be something about astrology this year. There may be bundles in there of my favorite programs. There may be, special discounts off of the hub. So all of my master classes. I don't know. There's a lot of options, but they're all a possibility. And if you want to know and you don't want to miss anything, you need to be on my email list. So make sure that you click the link in our show notes or follow me on social media, and then you won't miss anything. So, okay, let's get into this episode. Okay, I need to tell you about my client. So I have a private client who is on the verge of a really, really big shakeup in her life. Not just her life, but her entire family's life. There is a lot of moving parts in her life right now. And they're like, I almost feel like she's flown up in the plane to go skydiving and the door has opened and like all she's got to do is jump. Like that's how close she is to like a completely new life. And it's so exciting. And I get so giddy talking about it because I have been in that situation many times where I have been like on the verge of something really, really big, and you make these huge decisions that logically like make no fucking sense, but you do them. And that's where she's at. And in that process, there have been a lot of growth moments. And so I want to talk about those growth moments because I feel like a lot of people go through this, and maybe you know what I mean when I say, like, have you ever made a big decision? Maybe you made a huge investment into a program, or maybe you decided to move, or maybe you decided to quit your job. There's a big life change that you make. And in your brain, you're like, okay, see, I trust you, universe. I trust you, God. I trust you, Sky Daddy. Faith is in the universe. Let's go. And then it almost seems like immediately after that, you go backwards. Like it almost feels like, oh my gosh, was that the wrong decision? And like things start going wrong. Have you ever been in that position? Because if you have, then you relate very much to what I have experienced in my own life and what my client is experiencing in hers. And what I want to tell you about this is Sky Daddy, there are irrefutable laws of the universe. One of those is very similar to Newton's third law of physics. And it states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And these 13 universal laws are just like gravity, okay? They're real, they're happening all the time. We just don't talk about the 13 universal laws like the law of polarity and the law of attraction and the law of relativity and the law of mirrors and the law of compensation. Like, we don't talk about these things because if everybody, which I talk about these things, but socially speaking, we don't talk about these things because if we did and everybody knew them, then like the world would be a very different place, and those powers that be that try to control everything wouldn't be in control anymore, which, by the way, Pluto has shifted into Aquarius. And so all of those like corrupt systems, those like over controlling, domineering systems, they're all about to crumble the fuck down. And that's really good. And I'm personally very excited about that. And I'm all for a little bit of chaos because chaos is sometimes like the one path to peace. And sometimes you need to have so much chaos that it like shakes people awake so that like we're all fucking paying attention. And that is what Pluto and Aquarius is all about. So I'm very, very excited about it. But anyway, when you decide that you're going to do something with your life, you make a big move, you decide to quit your job, you decide to make a big investment, like when you do that, that is a huge like nod to Sky Daddy that says, okay, I trust you. Here's what I want. Everything you want is coming to you. Okay. It is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Literally, having everything you desire is literally your birthright. And in order to receive those things, the universe is first going to send you everything that is an obstacle to that goal that you need to remove or handle. Because what's never going to happen is you're not just going to skip from step A to step Q without going through B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? Like you have to go through all of those steps. And if I'm on step A and I want to get to step Q and I'm telling the universe like Q is my goal, universe can go, great, let's go to Q. But first, here's all of those other letters that are in the way that we need to deal with first. And so let's say you're deciding that you are going to, let's say you're going to make like a huge career shift, right? You're going to start your own business. Universe, I want to start my own business and I want to have a multi-million-dollar business that I build from the ground up, and I want time freedom and I want financial freedom and I want all these freedoms that everyone talks about and glamorizes. I want all of those things. Sky Daddy, as I call it, hears you and says, great, let's do that. Perfect. The law of reflection, right? Whatever you put out is what's going to be reflected back to you. I want this. The universe is like a pond. It reflects back to you like that. So I want a multi-million-dollar business where I have time freedom and financial freedom and all the things. Universe says, great, let's go do that. And here is the job that you currently have that you don't love very much. Here is the belief, here's your money shit. That's like all that money mindset shit you have where you actually feel like the more money you have, the more like the worse of a person you're going to be. Or maybe you grew up very religious and the belief was that money is the root of all evil. Maybe you have, leadership issues and you have visibility wounds and you're afraid to be seen. Maybe you grew up with parents who constantly tried to dim your light, and so you've been dimming your light your whole life. Sky Daddy remembers that you want that business, that multi-million-dollar business. But what's first going to happen is the universe is going to give you all of these things that are in the way of that you have to handle first. And so what could happen is you may like lose your job. And now you have money shit that comes up because now you don't know how you're going to be able to afford your bills. All of these things are on the path to that multi-million-dollar business because in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to get really good at rejection. You have to get really good at pluses and minuses. You have to get really good at ebb and flow. You have to get really good at having really high months in business and really low months in business. You got to get really good with that. And I don't mean just you. I mean like your central nervous system has to get good at that. And so if you don't currently have that neutrality in your body and that ability to remain neutral when things go up or things go down in your body, then the universe is going to give you all the things, all these lessons to learn on that path. So when you get there, you're not falling short because you never actually healed the shit. So you might lose your job, and then you may have money trauma, and then you may have to handle that, and then you may you're going to start to build your confidence, and you're going to start to shine a little bit brighter, and you're going to start to heal some of those visibility wounds. And now you're going to lose your best friend. And now you're going to have somebody who used to really understand you, like, not really want to talk to you anymore. You're going to post something on social media and you're going to get so many haters. People are going to call you names that you are so afraid of being, right? All of these things are on the path to getting everything you want. But in order to get there, you have to handle all of these things first. So when I tell you, you have to learn to trust the process and trust and remember and trust and have faith in the fact that you don't get to pick the how. The how is predetermined. It's going to happen. It's coming based on your choices. But it's I think a lot of people, they want to get to that place. They want to get to that place where they have that multi-million-dollar business and time freedom and financial freedom. And they just hope that all of their money mindset issues, all of their confidence issues, all of their leadership ability, all their visibility wounds, all their mother wounds, their father wounds, all of these wounds that they have will just like poof, magically disappear. But like, that's not really how manifestation works, is it? Like, it's not. And yes, it's magic in that you can't see it and it's stuff you have to believe before you can see. But I think a lot of people forget that while yes, Sky Daddy, God, Source, Universe is going to give you all the things you want, it's also going to make you move through the lessons you need to move through so that you can be the person who's capable of holding that goal that you have. And I have this conversation a lot with people on social media, like when I talk to, it just made me think of like, sometimes my clients will say to me like, how do I build my social media? But then they're also like afraid to raise their prices, or they're also like afraid to, they don't like to talk about their business at the dinner table at Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner because they know that their family doesn't understand what they do and they're like nervous about it. Those are contradicting actions, right? You want to be famous on social media. You want to go viral on social media and get hundreds and thousands of followers, but you still show up with these visibility wounds of like being ashamed of who you are, or not feeling confident to talk about who you are. You can't have that goal unless you handle this. And so what I'll tell my clients a lot of time is I'm like, you want to be famous on social media? You better get good at being hated. You want to be famous you want to have viral content? You better get used to people misunderstanding you. You also need to get comfortable with spending money, because nobody that has a massive social media following doesn't pay thousands of dollars in ads. Not in this day and age with social media. No way. This day and age, to have sustained profitable income coming from social media, you got to get good at spending your money. You got to get good at investing your money. And you're freaking out about the plane ticket you need to buy next month, or you're freaking out about how whether or not you should buy a new computer, even though yours is like busted and cracked and like you spilled water on it. So like that half of the keyboard doesn't even work. Do you see how these things are contradicting actions? And they're all connected. Because the person who's famous on social media doesn't care if you disagree with them. They don't care if you misunderstand their message. They don't care about spending money. They'll spend thousands of dollars. They'll do whatever they need to get their message out there. If you're still having these it's like big girl problems, small girl, big girl problems, small girl problems. If you still have small girl problems, you can't expect a big girl business. You can't expect a big girl life. You can't expect a big girl relationship. Right? If it's like finding the love of your life that you want, but like you still don't trust your own friends, how were you ever going to get the love of your life that's like a secure, safe relationship, right? So practice trusting that everything that's happening to you is happening for you, no matter how crazy it is. And that's really hard for a lot of people because it's so much easier to believe that we are the victim. It plagues us as a society. Victimhood plagues us as a society. And honestly, it's like a real slap in the face to anybody in this world who actually is the victim of violence and, and awful atrocities. Something that I was thinking of is like, there was this like, after the election, there was this thing where like women were like shaving their heads and like, wearing bracelets to signal that like they're, afraid. Like it was like all to like, to get their rights back. And the whole time I was like, how awful is this for these women in like Afghanistan who are like the wives of like the Taliban and have just been told that they are no longer allowed to speak to other women and they have to cover their entire body because they truly don't have rights, right? But all these women who are like, oh, we're going to shave our head and we're going to do all these things. What is the one thing they want? They want equality. They want to feel like they're accepted. They want to feel like they're, that you're like, if you're one of those people, like you want to feel like you're being heard and seen and valued. But then you're like completely ignoring the people around you who are truly not heard, seen, and valued. And like, do you see how that's a contradiction? Do you see how you can't want, you can't want to have like an inclusive, open, diverse life if at the first sign of not getting what you want, you like delete everybody on social media and choose not to speak to anybody anymore? Do you see how those are contradicting behaviors? You cannot get more of what you want if you are refusing to go through the things that you need to go through to get there. You also can't get more of what you want by putting a lot of time and attention and hatred into the things you don't want. Universal laws. Again, Break the Matrix is the program for you if this is resonating and triggering you and hitting you in all the right places. That is what I teach. It is so simple. It is so simple. And I know that it's not simple to a lot of people because I actually have like, I love my wife so much and there are so many things and I'm like, I don't understand how you don't feel this way. And she's like, you don't understand that this is not common sense to a lot of us. And so she's a really good mirror for me to kind of see like where a lot of the collective is with like understanding the universal laws and understanding like the way we get what we want, like the laws of manifestation. But also one thing that Breezy said to me, she goes, it's really good to have a mentor like you because you're really good at like seeing these things for people. And so Break the Matrix is the perfect program for you because you get live calls with me. So when you're going through this program and you're going through these self-led modules and you're like, oh, I don't really know how to do that. It's not like you just have to sit on that and like hope for the best. You get to bring those questions to a live call and I'll personally answer them for you. So it's like the perfect hybrid. But yeah, all that to be said, you're going to get everything you want. On the way there, you're going to be faced with the opportunity to heal and release everything that's in the way of you getting what you want. And the choice is yours. The universe can't remove them for you. Okay? They can't like remove the blocks for you. You have to do the work to remove it. So if you're considering like a really big move somewhere and you lose your job, you're getting everything you want. You wanted to move. So the universe is just putting those wheels into motion and now you get to handle that. Now you get to do the work to release the fears and the insecurities and the triggers coming up within you. And when you can do that, well, now you've broken the matrix. And you're not living according to the same rules as everyone else. And that's when life gets a hell of a lot more peaceful and satisfactory and surprising and successful. Okay. We'll be back next week with our final episode of the year. That we're going to take a 2-week break because we can. And then we're going to come back in January with season 4 of Break the Matrix, y'all. Not Break the Matrix. Wow. This podcast is called On the Daily. Maybe this podcast should be rebranded. No, it's not. Anyway, we'll be back with season 4 of On the Daily, but we have one more episode for you next week. And I hope that you tune in, and by then you have gotten one or many of the offers being offered for the 12 Days of D. Okay, friends, love you.